she is doing the work. She has done the work, but she had a lot of work to do before. Like, she talks about going to do the work to find out why she is attracted to men who are just not available, you know?
Toxic men.
And she got me a little bit, because I was like, wow, you are really doing the work. So you did go to a facility with a stop at Miraval on the way and on the way out, you know, but like, you did go to a facility, you did do some work, you decided to stay there longer, if that's what she's saying anyways. But then afterwards, after, you know, I don't take back that apology to Ariana. I have done the work. It was like, you know, falling in love with Tom. It was like, you know, it's this thing where she was comparing it almost to drug use, you know, and like, I was just addicted to him. And I was like, this is now it's becoming excuses. You know what I mean? Yes, you can like someone, you can love someone. I get that.
That's interesting that you say that, but
I just don't like the comparison to drug use. Is that a fair comparison? I'm not sure.
Well, so I'm gonna this is why I love having these conversations, because I think that you can be addicted to a lot of things, right? Drug use, alcohol,
sure,
being needy when it comes to friends.
You just named substances. I'm, you know, like.
But
I don't know.
Needy when it comes to friends. And she's saying that she sort of got addicted. I think that she is saying I think that when you put yourself in therapy and you have somebody who's a professional, and you've been to therapy, I have not, right? So, and you didn't enjoy it, and you actually got up and walked out and you stopped, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't for my personal situation. It was my previous partner who had an addiction to other things. That was coming between our and then being in the same position, not taking responsibility for the choices he was making. And at that point, after 2-3 sessions of, you're still not taking responsibility, you're still not hearing people out, you're still not listening to the therapist, of course I'm going to get out and walk away. I do think therapy is very helpful. And guys, I see in the live chat too, I do understand that the love addiction is a real thing. It's just, I think at some point we're looking for excuses for behavior.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think sometimes when you're dealing with a professional in a therapy session or setting, and you have somebody who is a doctor who's telling you, that's interesting to me. So what I'm seeing from this is, Rachel, you might not identify with this, but you're addicted to love. You're addicted to wanting to feel that love that somewhere deep down inside of you over the years, you feel like you've been lacking. You're addicted. But then I feel like this is why, for me, sometimes I kind of go back and forth with the idea of therapy. And I'm like, I feel like sometimes I just wonder how much of it is helpful and how much of it can be gaslighting you into thinking like what you've done is okay and it's justifying your actions in a way that makes sense to you. So then you can come out and explain those actions to everybody else.
No, I get that. But I think it's very healthy for her to be doing this right now. You know, and I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form, I'm just taught that production itself is not responsible for a lot of the hurt that she went through and the way they made her look. Of course, like, this is why I think the conversation needs to happen. This is why I think that what Bethenny is doing, you know, I don't know how far it will go, but I think that she is bringing awareness to things that we've already been talking about. Nene has talked about it. We've talked about it before. And there are things still to come out. Okay. This is not just the first interview you're going to see from Bethenny. I don't think. I don't think this is the first article that we're hearing that's about to come out. The things that we will hear or see, you will see that production and the network in itself can be exploit the talent, you know? And so, because my mind has changed on that too. From my previous stance, it's like, if you choose to do reality TV, that is up to you. No one's holding a gun to your head in the amount of drinks you're going to have. No one's holding a gun to your head in, you know, you need to go sleep with Tom Sandoval, that you need to be a fan of James Kennedy and come into Pump consistently to get his attention. You know what I mean? No one is telling you to do those things. So if they spin it to make it look a certain way, it's got to be expected at some point, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read this really quick. Ness, I asked a psychic on YouTube about Raquel before the season 11. Read Raquel would take a break from season 11, plus would get help from another woman, Bethenny, in video on YouTube. Thank you, Ness.
Thank you, Ness.
Yes, I get what you're saying, because I remember the early stages of being at Sir. I remember when James had a girlfriend before Kristen Doty, and obviously him and Kristen being together got him on the show, right? And I also remember around the same time that Raquel came into the picture, and Raquel, James was DJing at Pump and doing these different things, and Raquel would show up, and then Raquel would sort of follow them when they would go to the next spot, and she made sure that she was around. I think she kind of tried to explain in this interview that she didn't know what she was getting herself into. And she was like, I was wanting to be around DJs and I thought in my mind. And it's like, she didn't understand what she was actually entering into when it came to this whole situation. But wait, it keeps going. So she said that she still stands by her original apology that she posted on Instagram, again, saying that she had the need to be validated and be loved, but also that she looked up to her fellow cast members because she saw how they carried the show. She saw that they had affairs. She saw that they had toxic moments with the drinking and stuff like that. And that's what keeps the reality TV, machine moving. So when she was doing what she was doing, she didn't really think, why would this be a big deal? They've all done this before. She was kind of shocked because almost all of the cast had been in an affair before. And she said when it came to season 10, while filming, I was committed to keeping the secrets. Bethenny asked her, why did you do that last part? Right? The part that Alex Baskin and so many others swore would make the cast members of Vanderpump Rules really seriously contemplate signing their contracts.
Right.
It really was not that big of a deal. And she said at that moment, she was committed to just giving her truth. And she was so loyal to Tom Sandoval before and lying to everybody else, but she thought that could potentially be her last moment to tell her truth. She didn't know if she would be back. So that's exactly what she did. She took the opportunity and she had to throw him under the bus as well. What were your thoughts about that?
I think she finally listened to herself.
Mm-hmm.
I also, just to go back to, I believe her portrayal is not necessarily who she is. Okay. I think she is a better person than this. And I think she got caught up in a lot of the games that are being played, because she wasn't really a main cast member before. Right. So
right.
The main cast members are going to also save themselves from this whole situation as well. But I don't know. I get lost because we have personal relationships with all of these people, and we know interactions that Raquel has had with these people. We know things that have happened behind the scenes. We've been there for some of the things that happen behind the scenes. So it's hard for me to really believe some of the things I think have been a little skewed. She's changed certain things. So I'm sitting on this fence with with Raquel right now, or with Rachel. Sorry.
Oh no, we'll get into that too. Kirsten, her reaction to everything just brought up all the rage I had when this first started. The excuses, and according to Adam, her lying about their personal interactions behind the scenes. Well, according to Adam, Kirsten, wow, just put that on me. No, it is true. I think that when talking about Vanderpump Rules, unfortunately for us, I think it's so easy for a lot of people, but we do have so many great relationships with some of the cast members. And I think that I love keeping and maintaining good relationships with people. I don't want to lose those or argue or fight. And with that, in the business that we do, you really have to walk a fine line, and you can't, you have to be not, it's weird. You can't be biased. You can't, it really is sort of a challenge, right?
It makes for a better conversation. Okay, let's say that, because then people are always going to come to you for what they want to hear instead of balancing the conversation, right?
Yeah. All right. We're going to get back into it. She also, Rachel, mentioned that she visited Tom Sandoval's friends and family in St. Louis, and it showed her honesty is one of her core values that she is not going to compromise anymore. But she went into treatment right after the final interview, and that's where they took her phone and confiscated her stuff. And she felt that she was very welcomed by everyone, and everyone met her with grace and compassion. And Bethenny asked her, do you forgive yourself? She said, I do. Bethenny again said, why Bethenny? Why me? And she said, you are the force to be reckoned with. My mom loves you, which sort of gives credit to exactly what I said before that Lala and Sheena said on their own respective podcasts. But the part that got me was she did say, because Bethenny's whole, saying for this is exploitation without compensation, right?
Right.
She feels exploited in that the network is running to the bank with the scandal, but not giving her a single penny. She didn't even pay for her own treatment. Her parents helped her pay for that. Thoughts?
About the treatment? About the exploitation?
About her, I guess, not receiving any money for it.
I mean, this is something that, Bravo has specialists to work through with their talent in dealing with these situations. So
Right.
I definitely think that if this was a situation she found herself in, I definitely think that Bravo should have helped her take care of the situation, because she just went through the ringer for this show. And as much, guys, I'm not giving an excuse to Rachel here, but she did save the show. She gave them another season. She's given Ariana, single-handedly, really all the deals to make herself very successful. Now something about her will be very successful. Everything will be successful. But she did choose to make a decision. She did choose to do these things. And then she preempted this in the interview by saying, I've had these problems. Why am I attracted to people who are already taken?
Right.
So man, I'm sitting on a fence, and I feel like I'm giving nobody any kind of opinion here, but I do think that Bravo should absolutely step up just a little bit to take care of someone's mental sanity, especially after the biggest scandal on Bravo in such a long time. But as Cindy said, she was paid for her season, just like everyone else. So, man.
Okay. So, I mean,
we did see her play a lot, though, in this season. The way she was so coy with her actions with Tom Sandoval, being deceptive, which she admitted to in the interview, to, just doing things that are just so unlike the character she is describing that she has in her, that she appreciates honesty and that she is an honest person, and she didn't find herself being honest. And it's like, yeah, we watched that. And the difference is, and Bethenny asked her, too, about the show. And she said, everyone's done this on the show. Yes, that's very true. And we have kind of, in my view, I'm 40 years old, right?